The new district attorney in San Francisco wants more video, and a new ordinance would strip away constitutional rights and allow police real-time access to any private surveillance camera, both live and if police wanted to archive footage. In other words, the Fourth Amendment doesn't exist anymore. Every Ring doorbell now belongs to the cops. San Fran is not the only place. Businesses in Houston just had to install government-accessible cameras as well. Ian Samuels here, former Supreme Court clerk. Lieutenant Tracy McCray is vice president of the San Francisco Police Officers Association. Lieutenant, start with you. Is this something that police should be in favor of because it'll actually work, or is it just another excuse for the DA to look like they're doing something rather than prosecuting the people police have already arrested?
No, I think you have to take it in the context of what it is. It's another tool to try to help us, but there are steps we have to take in order to request access. We just don't get it, and I think that's the misinterpretation of all of this, that we just have cops sitting around at banks of cameras to monitor live what's going on. We don't get that. And so whatever tool we can get to help the DA in prosecution, if it's video, that would be great. But, you know, we're not getting that freely. But
it's still without a warrant, right?
No, it's still without a warrant, but there are steps you have to go through first in order to even get in the queue to get access to it. So we have to request it. It has to be approved. That process can take days, if not weeks, to get it. It just doesn't happen automatically, and I think that's where the misconception is.
I want to bring in Ian on this, and I mean, obviously no disrespect for San Francisco PD as I ask this question, but isn't the whole point of the Constitution that it can't be approved by people inside the police department? It has to be approved by a judge?
Yes, bingo. Okay, so I understand and appreciate the point that the lieutenant is making, which is, hey, you have to fill out a form first, and a police supervisor has to approve that form. But what you don't have to do is, for example, demonstrate probable cause that looking at this through this Ring doorbell or whatever else will give you evidence of a crime. And you don't have to submit this evidence, whatever your suspicion is, whatever your level of suspicion you have to say on the form is, you don't have to show it to a judge, a neutral third-party magistrate. It's just the police deciding which other police officers can watch whom when, which I understand that there is some, disciplining effect of, bureaucratic internal rules, but at the same time, come on.
Well, I guess the other way to look at it, Lieutenant, and I would wonder if you would think about this, is that for so long, the amount of crime in San Francisco that's gotten so out of control, civilians have looked to the police now really for protection. You guys have become the heroes here. Do you worry that if all of a sudden people realize that their Ring doorbells and everything else can just be confiscated at will, that it changes the dynamic with law-abiding citizens who may not want their surveillance video viewed?
Well, I would just point out, we're not confiscating anyone's video, right? If we request it, if people want to give it to us, they can. If they don't have to, right? We're not saying, hey, look, you need to give us this video that you have. We are not going into people's homes demanding this video. So again, I think the context here, what Ian was saying, having a judge look at it, third party neutral, hey, great, have that. Do whatever you need to be able to control it. But again, if you want effective prosecution, sometimes getting video evidence does help that.
100%. We haven't talked in a few weeks. Have things changed in San Francisco since the recall of Jason Boudin?
I mean, we're waiting to see. The one who started that viral video was arrested again. So the DA is supposed to be charging him. So we'll see what happens under this new DA.
Well, at least one of the newspapers out there, or one of the television stations, is had the headline that crime has gone down, not by much or statistically significant. Hey, Ian, I'm going to give you the last word on this because it is sort of becoming this nationwide idea of a greater look by police departments at surveillance cameras that are privately owned. How does this end other than in a court case at the Supreme Court?
Well, I think that it's good. That's going to happen, right? But remember, it doesn't stop with video surveillance. It also means location surveillance. And the Supreme Court has already said you need a search warrant to get, a record of a person's locations. But if you get that record of a person's locations from some third-party data broker, all the advertising technology companies that collect not just video information about you, but they collect location data information about you. I mean, Leland, I could probably tell you what you bought at Whole Foods in your most recent trip and how fast you drove to get there if you gave me, a little time and money to do it. There is a lot of information that is being collected about us, and eventually the Supreme Court is going to have to decide whether it matters, whether that's collected first by a private third-party data broker and then the government collects it, or if the government just observes it directly. I don't think there's a difference, and I don't think most people think there's a difference either.
Lieutenant, how should people who are otherwise law-abiding, but rightfully perhaps skeptical of the government, as I think both Ian and I would fall into the category of, view this wild world with the police?
Well, I'm in the same boat. I'm skeptical. I don't want all my information out there being tracked, right? I want my privacy just like anybody else. I think, it is going to end up in the Supreme Court, and we'll see how they rule. But when that gets there, I don't have a crystal ball to tell you, but it will end up there.
Yeah, fair enough. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.